What is good, everybody? Today I'm going to go through the one trade that I took. We're going to look at price action, take some good lessons. I honestly thought today was a pretty sweet day to better our understanding, and a couple different tendencies of the market got demonstrated today. So without further ado, just hop straight in, bro. Let's go ahead and do bigger time frame analysis, right? This is what we're looking at in the bigger time frame. We have, once again, really clean bigger time frame model, honestly, right? So we have bigger time frame SMT come up, big stop rate, and immediately start to sell off, right? We see a sell off towards -2 standard deviation. Pull back, right? What did we pull back to, right? We pull back to end up taking this high, and from there we dip, right? Now, completely honestly, I came in today with a bullish bias, right? We opened the market around here. I thought it was pretty clear that we were just going to get bought straight up to all-time highs today. But the market had other plans, right? So I was able to save myself some losses by instead of forcing a long because I thought my bias was bullish. Oh, of course it has to play. This is the one setup. I was able to not take any losses and actually take a fat W short today, right? So we're going to hop into all that stuff. And yeah, so one thing that I want to show, right, is we have to understand these bigger time frame models are working the same way that our 15 5-minute models are, bro, right? So in terms of this model, right, if this is going to be our displacement, change the state somewhere around here, maybe even right here, right? If that's going to be what it is, what is this come back up and sweep this high, right? That's just a turtle soup. So if we want to draw this in, that'll be right here as turtle soup in the bigger time frame, right? What does our drawn liquidity now start to look like? Maybe down to 3.5 to 4, right? Aligned with these two draws, right? Tomorrow, if our overnight session kind of chills around here, I'm coming in with a drawn liquidity of this low, and maybe even more if we want to just dump, right? But today I had a pretty big dump. I'm not really expecting to see that once again. Tomorrow will most likely be lower probability conditions, right? But coming into today, what I'm looking at, right, on the smaller time frames here, let's go check this out, right? We're opening inside this range, and I thought this was pretty clear to see some type of long setup on open, honestly. I was pretty, expecting a long, right, but I didn't force it, like I said. So we have an SMT on London and Asia lows, right? We have minute open above where we were opening price at, right? And what price does on open is NQ just dips, bro. NQ just in the first candle is just dropping, right? So we end up coming back, filling this 4-hour, right? Coming down, taking these lows, taking Asia, London, all that stuff, right? Now we end up holding an SMT here on ES a couple of different points, right? And I did not take a long here, even though I was looking to, right? What we end up seeing is this inverse, which I thought was honestly pretty clean, but I just didn't get a change in the state, so there would have been no long here, right? But another thing I really don't like about the setup is just how much more bearish NQ was, right? So if we look, this kind of would have been what I would have taken right here, pretty much just whole position off right here, 1.73. Really nice, but I ended up getting a fatter trade later in the day, so we'll check that out, right? But once again, no change in the state, no displacement, no really good competitive entry, so I didn't end up getting involved. Once again, another reason that is lower probability trade, even if you did take the inverse there or whatever, is because if we check out NQ at that point, this is what NQ is doing. NQ is way lower inside the range, and yeah, okay, we have an SMT, but if NQ even runs up and makes a change in the state right here, what is that change in the state bringing us back to, right? So let's keep that right there, and now let's look. What is the change of the state bringing us back to? 5-minute for value gap right here, a 15-minute that's just now opening up right here. What else do we have? A 5-minute a little bit higher, a 3-minute right there. We have all these different things that the market might want to pull back to these, right? So we're going to get psyched out if we take that long because of how much more bearish NQ is, right? So if you do take a long on ES, the precaution that you have to walk into that with, right, would have been this. So getting involved in that change of the state, stop at that low, and then right here around any of these highs, whatever you consider to be kind of based on price efficiency and what the actual new minute chart data is showing you, I would have gone break even either here as my break even point or on this high up here, right? And then I'm just looking for this as a fast move, bro. And if it doesn't make it, I have tight stop once again. We're just gonna sit out, bro. Like it is what it is, right? I'm way happier getting break even stopped out than sitting in a really inefficient trade that's going up and down and up and down and then finally hitting TP. You know what I'm saying? So I'm much happier following and only looking for those good setups rather than just taking buns, right? So what do I end up taking? This trade is something that I see repeat a lot, and because of that, I have conviction in taking it. Do I think it's the highest probability setup? I really don't think it was a bad setup at all, completely honestly, right? But I don't think this is something that I think a lot of times I'm going to be wanting to sit out of this trade, but today I ended up taking it. I thought it was pretty nice, and, it played, right? So what we're looking at here is after we see the entire AM move, this happens on a repeated basis. Literally, bro, look for this in your next charts, and you are going to see this every single time we have a classic buy-sell day. Market will do two things, right? we'll have one index that is running and is the leader, right? So today that's NQ, much more bearish, right? We'll come down and we'll make an SMT on any kind of point of interest, right? It doesn't even really have to be an SMT. It just has to be that one is much more leading than the other, right? So our SMT today, it was on this low, right? Am I really considering this low for an SMT? You know, not the most, but it is a fact to, you know, consider it, because that SMT is happening right around change in the state, an equilibrium of our range, in a big 50-minute inverse, right? So that's a point that we might want to turn around, right? Maybe. So market will make this 15-minute or whatever time frame SMT on some type of level that's against this draw, right? What will it do then, right? It will start to consolidate and it will build structure for an internal model, right? So a model that's right here where we have some type of SMT here, boom, boom. I had to take this on NQ, by the way, because I thought the RR was much better and it was just a nicer trade. I took this something like this right here, and then stop was around this high, and then we just let this go to like here. So yeah, actually, did I say it's on NQ? Yeah, I did. So this was the setup on NQ with the entry right here. Yeah, 1.96, really sweet. Once again, though, like I was saying, we'll hit that, we'll make the SMT, we'll consolidate, and we'll set in the price action to create an internal model, right? Then we'll play out that internal model, and for the rest of the day, we'll be inefficient, right? So this happened yesterday, and we'll check this out in a second, right? But price will SMT, it will pull back, do all it needs to do, generate liquidity, then it will be a smart money reversal, and we can trade this continuation, right? But what's another trade of this that is helping me identify a lot is going to be the time, right? This is usually going to be happening anywhere from around 1050 to 1110, right? To 1120-ish, which is our last ditch macro. And this opportunity happens a lot, but the later it gets past 1110, the less likely I am to trade this. Like if this popped out at 1145, I wouldn't have been taking it. 1130, probably not. Only around here, since it's the very end of that 1110 macro, is when I'm hopping into this. But overall, this is a pretty sweet trade to take because it's in line with this bigger time frame bias. And the only issue that we're experiencing here is that we definitely have less than efficient price action, because like I said in my backtesting video, go watch that. I dropped some sauce. We are getting the breadcrumbs, guys. If we trade this, we are trading the breadcrumbs, and that's not bad, but we have to understand it, right? We just have to understand it, because all of the confident AM traders that are making a ton of bread and they're just trading this shit, they're getting crazy big point moves in like 2 candles. Like they're clearing out our entire trade requirement in 3 minutes, where we're waiting over literally 40 minutes to see our trade play out, where just to get that small same amount of points, because we're trading the inefficient late AM session action, right? This is when the market has to consolidate and do a whole bunch of BS before it can continue, right? So like we talked about, this is in line with the bigger time frame, so you can leave a runner here. I don't think it's a good idea, completely honestly. I really just like to take profits here, because we could have 100% seen the market do something like this, right? Where we want to take this low and then just start slowly working our way, chopping all the way back inside the range for the rest of the day, because we want to close inside, make an inside day, you know, whatever we want to do, right? Stuff like that. That is kind of what the market can do. So because of that, for these types of setups, the only other way you could have looked to take any kind of profit would have been a fib level, right? So you could have taken some right here and maybe left a very small bit for 2-2.5. That's so far away. Only way I would have maybe left it is if it's like somewhere around here you can catch it, or just looking for that second stage distribution. Once we see a second distribution, it's kind of taking off wherever you feel comfortable there. That's an okay way to trade this. But overall, combined with the inefficiency in time and position on the chart, I'm just taking this off when I know the model is done, right? So final thing that I kind of want to talk about is, I would say, positioning yourself in terms of the bigger time frame, right? Watching that here, we don't have the ability to like understand confidently where the drawn liquidity is. So everything that we take has to be understood that it's going to be lower probability, right? I took this trade de-risking because I knew that it was going to be lower probability. And the fact was that there was an SMT placed against me and I had to trade manage because, like I said, it was lower probability. What ended up happening here was, if we look, ES ends up taking this low right in this first distribution here. So that was at 1123. We placed in an SMT there, and then from there, market consolidates, chops all to hell, does everything it shouldn't do in an efficient trade, and then it delivers TP. So the way that I managed this was this, right? SMT placed in. I took 75% of my position off around here. So kind of buns, you know, I didn't really get the best fill right there. And then I just ended up leaving one contract out of 4 micros to go here. Ended up taking about a $600 win. Was pretty sweet, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the day, boys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys saw these same way in your charts, understand the way that I'm coming from. Even if we view the charts entirely differently, it's really good, honestly, as a great market mastery as traders to be able to come in and listen to another person's technical analysis and see how it works with yours, right? One more thing I want to cover right here, this entry, this long, if someone took this, I don't think this is good because I don't think the bigger time frame is bullish. I definitely think this could have gone here, but I just don't like it because we don't have enough confirmation. Even though we have inverse change, internal soup, I don't like it, and that's why I'm viewing this more as a change in the state because of the bigger time frame narrative than a stop rate right here, right? So if that was anyone's question, there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope I can help you guys out, and I'll catch you boys in the next one. So peace out.